Hello, America. How are you? How are you, America? As for me, I'm experiencing the emotion of happiness right at the moment. And for those of you who've watched my other videos, you'll understand that I'm the kind of guy I'm big on being in touch with your emotions. We'll get to that later, though. What's important is last night I was having a conversation with my youngest adult son, and we were reminiscing about the old days when we still lived in New Mexico, and we used to go on road trips quite a bit. And the reason I'm happy is because I was kind of remembering and I was reminiscing about one particular road trip. It was back in 2007, 2006, 2007. The kids were still just little tidies. You know, they were just little. They were just little. I don't remember how old they were. They were just little though, and they were sitting in the back seat of the car as we go on these road trips. And thing about Dr. Torres, like I said, Dr. Torres, we were still married in these days. This is like I said in 2007. Dr. Torres and I were still married, and Dr. Torres wasn't Dr. Torres yet. You understand? Dr. Torres was still Renee. So anyway, it was commonplace for us to take road trips, long road trips. And on this particular occasion, we were driving out toward we were barreling down eastbound on Interstate 40 out there on in between Edgewood and Albuquerque on the interstate. Just just listening to music and. Uh, as a side note, Dr. Torres, for those of you who don't know, she's a gifted musician and she's really got an eclectic, I guess is the word, taste in music. Not eclectic, a wide. To put it this way, when I was a kid growing up, I was a junkyard kid. You understand, and I was pretty much steeped on outlaw country music and 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 Renee introduced me to such bands as like Cause and Effect and Depeche Mode and The Cure. Uh, yeah, and for those of you who don't know The Cure is top notch. Robert Smith, you rock, dude. Robert Smith. I digress. Um, Point is, we're on this road trip and things are good. We got, we're doing good. I'm confident. I'm sitting behind the wheel. We're listening to music and kids in the back seat. Our bellies are full. We're getting all of our needs met, and it's a nice day. And I decided to take a right turn at Edgewood, and so we're just driving and cruising and listening to music and eating junk food, rock and roll. The American dream. We're living the American dream. So anyway, long story short, we're driving down this long country road because, like, for those of you who don't know, south of Edgewood, New Mexico, there's just miles and miles of just endless gravel roads. They just they just seemingly they lead nowhere. There's gravel roads and there's few houses. And it was back in these days. It was still rural. It was just desolate badlands. So anyway, long story short, I see this. We're driving past this property, and and I see this. There's a pickup truck, a Ford pickup truck with a for sale sign in the windshield with for sale sign. It's a cardboard sign, and with a magic marker, the owner of this Ford pickup wrote $600. $600. So, cut to the chase. We're cruising down this gravel road. I jam on the brakes a little bit. The tires lock up a little bit. And to make a long story short, I was just so excited to see this truck. My muscle memory just took over. I ended up one thing led to another, and we ended up I parked the car next to this pickup truck and I exited the car and Renee and the kids, they kind of got out of the car and started stretching their legs. In the meantime, I'm going up to the house. I knock on the door, I said, "Hey, I see you got this pickup for sale. What can you tell me about this Ford truck of yours?" And the guy, I was just standing at the threshold, and the door was open because it was hot, and they were letting the screen door. And I opened up the screen door and I peek in. This guy's sitting on his lazy boy recliner, and he says, "The key's right there on the hook next to you. Just go ahead and take it for a drive." He says, he's kind of put out. It's like the kind of guy that didn't like visitors. You understand? So anyway, I didn't want to hassle him too much. So I said, "Yeah, all right, thank you." I said, I'll just take it for a test drive really quick." So I did. And he stays behind the owner of this truck, and Renee and the kids are out there kind of peeking around looking at the truck, and for the first impression I had of this truck, it was a beat up old carpenter's truck is what it was. It was an F-250 and it was white. And it was like I said, F-250, and that's what they call a 3/4 ton. When I say it was white, it wasn't brilliant white light. It was like the same kind of white that it was the same color white as dirty snow. Yeah, and it had the factory original steel wheels, with no hubcaps, and the tires were pretty much bald. And The windshield was really damaged. The windshield was severely damaged, but it was only on the passenger side a little bit. The driver's side of the windshield was still pretty much where you could still see. It was still drivable. So as is commonplace, before I test drive a vehicle, I opened up the hood. You know, I reached in there and I popped the hood and I opened up the hood, looked inside there, and lo and behold, what do I see? I see under the hood is what they call the Big Six. It was the 300 cubic inch Ford straight six engine. And for those of you who don't know, you can Google it. But the legendary, it's a legendary engine. This Ford is this legendary Big Six. Then the 300 cubic inch 6-cylinder straight six Ford. So my heart chakra just kind of started spinning, you know, a little bit because I was thinking, $600. This might be it. So I checked the oil. The oil was tip top. Put the oil, closed the hood, got in behind it, and I started it up, put it in the clutch. And it had the 4-speed manual transmission. And the, the 4-speed manual transmission, you start off in second gear because first gear is strictly for just like hauling really super duty, heavy loads. Started off in first gear. They call it grandma gear. So anyway, I had the 4-speed transmission with the clutch. So the kids and Renee, they're standing back there, you know, just kind of listening. They're just kind of, I was so excited, I just kind of abandoned them, and I got in the truck and I took off and I said, I'll be back in a minute. So I'm cruising down, so I'm driving this truck, you know, and I'm testing it out, and it was solid. This truck, and it didn't look like much, but mechanically it was sound. The only thing that it was kind of dicey was the clutch linkage, but the clutch linkage is not that big of a deal to replace the clutch linkage. But the thing that really sold me on it, was the brakes. The brakes were just, it was, like I said, it's an industrial grade truck. Having said that, the brakes were like designed to not only stop the truck, but the brakes were also designed to stop the weight of a trailer that the truck is designed to carry, because, you know, the brakes had to be robust enough to stop also the truck, but the heavy load that it would be pulling if it was pulling a trailer. Like I said, it was an industrial grade truck, this Ford F-250. So one thing leads to another, and I pretty much, like I said, my sacral chakra and my heart chakra is just kind of resonating with this truck. And for those of you who don't know, what I'm trying to say is that there's energetic energy. This truck was I knew this truck was mine. $600. I'm gonna cut this video short right now. In the next video, we're gonna pick up where I explain why the truck was so important. It was important for me to have this truck because Renee, as it turns out, had just been accepted to graduate studies at New Mexico Highlands University. In other words, she was accepted to grad school. And for those of you who don't know, getting accepted to grad school is a big deal. You know, to get accepted into grad school, clinical psychology program, mind you, you have to have all your ducks in a row. You have to be on top of your game to get accepted into grad school. So I was happy because I knew that we had a reason to justify buying another vehicle. And I'm gonna stop this video here. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the truck in detail. Because, like I said, this was the best truck I ever had. This is the best truck I ever had. And the next video, we're gonna pick up where I left off. Thank you, America.